And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes.
All right, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for spending some time with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. You know, it really makes our day when you reach out to the show and you ask for those referrals. You reach out and you say, hey, I'm looking to get in touch with a great real estate, mortgage, attorney, CPA, financial advisor, all types of great home service providers. We got Martin Grammatica in studio with ClearView Imaging Center today. If you want to take control of your health, so many different ways that we help you on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Just reach out to the show hotline. Greatly appreciate that. Also going to talk a little international real estate. We're going to talk about the top 5 states that global buyers are buying in. What would be the top 5 states? What's your guess? Go ahead and start getting that in your mind. Also, top 6 countries of origin from foreign buyers. Talk a little real estate, international real estate there as well. And Consumer Quarterback Show powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We always like to feature our listings on air. This one's 221 Howard Drive, Bel Air Beach, Florida. Beautiful property, and we help you get maximum exposure on all of our listings, and that is part of our unique selling proposition, part of our strategy. This one's 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,500 square foot, multi-million-dollar listing on the beaches. Gorgeous 3-island kitchen with Thermador appliances, saltwater pool, 100 linear feet of frontage there. Bring your boats and jet skis. Enjoy that Florida lifestyle to the fullest. 221 Howard Drive, Bel Air Beach, Florida. Beautiful property listing from the Platinum MVP team. 11303 Clear Oak Circle. This one's in Newport Richey, Pasco County. Just hit the market. 1,854 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And you have almost a third of an acre of land here. Lighter color kitchen, beautiful flooring, great opportunity to own real estate. You got an open floor plan, soaring ceilings, and abundance of natural light. Beautiful pool and spa package there, screened-in pool as well. Affordable home at 11303 Clear Oak Circle in Newport Richey, Florida. And if you're buying, selling, investing, we would love to talk to you. Also have my mortgage loan origination license now. We can help you with all of your refinances and purchase mortgage as well. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, Martin Grammatica, welcome back in, sir.
Hey, good to see you, man. Glad to be back.
Yeah, man. Yep, that's right. Only in America. You know, I love that Brooks and Dunn song. There's so many good things happening in America right now, and yeah, man, and you're part of the American dream. I'll throw you in that boat.
Well, I always tell people, how can I not be part of the American dream when I didn't even know football existed?
Yeah, exactly.
Originally, I was born in Argentina. We didn't know football existed till we landed in the United States. Yeah. And I remember we landed in Miami. Like most Argentinians fly into Miami first.
Yep.
And I remember watching a Dolphins game, and we thought it was rugby with shoulder pads and helmets. Had no idea.
Exactly, yeah.
I learned that there was basketball, baseball, volleyball. These are sports that, because there was no internet back then.
Yes.
So all we did was play soccer. I knew tennis. We played a little tennis. And then over the summer, we swam in, the summer camps.
Yeah, yeah.
You do soccer, tennis, and swimming.
That's
Other than
cool.
that, I didn't even know other sports existed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, how can I not say the American dream when I was able to win a Super Bowl in a sport that I know existed?
Yeah, Lou Groza award winner at K-State. I mean, just a storied football career. And, yeah, man, that's the American dream. You know, that's what's beautiful about our country, man, is you can come here with I mean, how many times have you heard, you know, whether a politician, a business owner, you know, I came here, or my grandparents came here with X amount of money in their pocket, and, you know, now they're all this, you know, wealthy, and they built these companies. Some of these companies are getting so huge today, too. Right. I mean, you're talking, you know, how the money has grown. I like to watch a lot of the History Channel. You know, I'll pull up and just watch some of that, and, you know, I've been watching a lot of the founding fathers and some of the history of, Carnegie and all the guys, the men that built America. But it's interesting to see because, you know, the wealth they had was in the millions. And if you translate that now, that would be in the billions now. I mean, it's crazy how the dollar's just consistently gone up.
Right. Everything, if you think about it, everything like what players made back then to what players make now.
Oh, yeah.
And what we made was much more than what the guys used to make. So they always say, I wish I would have played in that era. But that era is when you're playing at that same time, it really means it's a lie. So, but this country gives you so many opportunities, and like you said, if you work, that's the thing though. The people that complain and don't take advantage of the American dream is because they don't work.
That's right.
Nobody hands you anything for free. And that's one of the things, like in South America, they misunderstand. They think that you move to the United States and now all of a sudden you become a millionaire.
Yeah.
They start asking you for stuff. Send me this, send me that. No. You work for what you get here.
Yeah.
But in other countries, so you work and you still, at the end of the month, don't see the profit or the benefits of it. Here, if you work, you have that American dream. So I agree with you. It's the greatest country in the world for sure.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, and you know what's cool? And then the internet also really opened up the game, right? It changed the game because no matter how hard you work and you know, if let's say you're in the wrong industry or you're just doing one of these jobs where you kind of trade your time for money. You know, I did some of that early on in my career, personal training. It was fun as a younger adult, but you're kind of trading time for money. But what do you do? And the question then becomes is, what are you doing from 7 to 11 p.m. or 6 to 10 p.m., right? Because you have the internet. You can go research. You can start a company online. You can be so creative. You can go out there and launch new ventures with the internet. And I know a lot of people have done that, like kind of that side hustle thing.
Well, that for me is my new career now, preventative imaging. I'm not a doctor. I've never done anything medical. I never thought I could ever be in the medical industry.
Yep.
But because of the technology and just so everybody knows, we're doing preventative scans for heart disease and cancer. I'm not running the machine, okay?
Right. You're not the tech.
No. So don't think that I'm pushing the buttons. But we have professionals that do that. But you're able to be in the medical industry even though I didn't go to medical school.
Right.
And so that's exactly what you're saying. Because of the internet and the technology, we're able to be in industries or jobs that we never thought we'd possibly would be in.
Right.
And back then you couldn't because there's no way you can get into the medical industry without the technology.
Right.
So this is it goes to your point, like what I'm doing now with my partners, preventative imaging.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd ever be in the medical industry.
Right. Yeah, and it can be lucrative, and there's ways that you can go out and and I think as coming out of school too, I did a business mastery or a business degree, kind of general business. I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Yep.
I just knew business was there's a lot of businesses out there, and I had entrepreneurship as my concentration. So I always had to focus on what can I do to differentiate myself from other people. And then when I got into real estate, it was like, oh wow, the radio show's really cool. I know there's a lot there, and then it kind of bleeds into social media and marketing and strategy. So really love that. And, I think that entrepreneurial spirit is going to make a rebound. There's going to be a big rebound in America. I know you're in the health profession now. And so I've got a clip here that I want to play. I always like to tee up some of these clips. But this one is with the Doge team. And they're talking about how they're eliminating waste and some of the waste that was found. But this will bring it right back around to health and human services and health and ultimately with ClearView Imaging Center, you're helping people take control of their health because how do you know what's inside your body? You get a scan. So we'll talk more about that here in just a moment. I want to roll this tape.
Secretary Kennedy announced Thursday morning that they'd be cutting 10,000 jobs from across the department. When all is said and done, that'll be 20% of the entire HHS workforce. Among others, the FDA will let go 3,500 employees. Though Kennedy did stress that the cuts would not impact inspectors looking at drugs, medical devices, and food. The NIH will lose 1,200 workers, the CMS 300, and the CDC 2,400. The list goes on. The overhaul will also eliminate 13 of the department's 28 existing divisions and create a new administration for a healthy America. According to Kennedy, the cuts will save taxpayer money and force health agencies to become more efficient.
When I arrived, I found that over half of our employees don't even come to work. As part of President Trump's DOGE workforce reduction initiative, we're going to streamline HHS to make our agency more efficient and more effective. We're going to eliminate an entire alphabet soup of departments and agencies while preserving their core functions by merging them into a new organization called the Administration for a Healthy America, or AHA.
So they love the acronyms, right? The AHA, the MAHA. But, making America healthy again, I think that's a key element not only for our federal government, but also locally here. I mean, people can make themselves healthy by going and getting a scan.
And that's one of the things, Brandon, that with what we're doing, it's something that a lot of people don't know they can do. And that's why I'm so glad that the word's getting out that you can take your health into your own hands, because preventative imaging is not something that's very popular. It's not something that's all over the country. So it's very limited cities have what we have.
Yeah.
And And we want our patients to come in when they're feeling good, because that's the other thing. We've been taught our whole life to go to the doctor when we don't feel well. If we feel fine, why go to the doctor? If your car's running good, why go to the mechanic?
Yep.
In this case, we want our patients to come in when they're feeling well, because if there's anything going on, hopefully we catch it early. There's times that, obviously, depending on what's going on, you may not. But that patient has no idea there's something going on because there hasn't been a symptom yet.
Right.
So if we detect something prior to that first symptom, at times it could be early enough where they can treat it. But the most important thing is they can treat it with good quality of life, because you can avoid the chemos and radiations, the heart attacks. I mean, obviously nobody knows more about the heart than you. I mean, you've suffered through yours. A good friend of mine, Ernie, ended up having a massive heart attack. If he would have come in to scan, he still would have needed the 4 stents that he got, but he would have avoided the heart attack.
Right.
And that's what we're doing at ClearView Imaging. We're making sure that if there's anything going on, our patients know about it, so now they can get it treated by their specialist, their primary care doctor, or whatever specialty doctor they need for that particular issue that they have going on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important to do the preventative care, the preventative measures, and it's all within your control. It's one of that's what's beautiful about America and our technology that we have is, take advantage of the systems that you have out there. And it's more affordable than people think. I think sometimes people say, oh, well, that's got to be so expensive. It's more affordable than people think.
Absolutely, man. I mean, our single scan price is very competitive. It's very affordable. But we also have a program. And when a patient comes in for a program, it's almost like a cup of coffee a day. So if you think about it, a lot of people are going to Starbucks to get a cup of coffee, or anywhere where you get a cup of coffee. This scan that can save your life is about that average per day.
Right.
And we're giving the patients information, because one single scan, it's incredibly important, because that's going to tell that patient what their body is that day.
Yep.
But it could also give you that little false sense of security if everything's fine, because now you look inside, everything's great. You're like, okay, now I don't need to see my doctor for 10 years. That's not the case. That's why we've developed a program where we're scanning our patients every year.
Yes.
So every scan is going to be compared to the previous year.
Right.
So if anything were to change, we're going to catch it early. As a matter of fact, last week, I had a really good friend of mine, his wife had spots on the liver. And they say it's common. A lot of people have spots on their liver. So year one, they said, okay, we're going to monitor him in the follow-up scan. Now she gets her second scan. One of those shadows was the size, almost a little bit bigger than a golf ball, about to be the size of a tennis ball. So it grew quite a bit in a year. So now she had surgery about 3 days ago, where they removed 3 cysts from her liver. So that's the importance of the program, because if she would have just scanned one time, she's like, okay, everything's fine.
Right.
I'm good. And a year later now, that spot or that shadow ended up being almost the size of a tennis ball. So that's why it's so important to scan every year, like the mammogram. Women are doing a mammogram every single year, and that's how breast cancer is the most detected and survived cancer. We're technically, unofficially doing a full body mammogram.
Right.
When you look from the top of the shoulders, base of the pelvis, so if anything's detected, our patients can go see their specialist.
Yeah, you get that baseline, and then you're able to measure each year after that. And remember the story too. By the way, if you just joined us, I'm Brandon BRimes. I'm talking with Martin Grammatica here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. ClearView Imaging Center. ClearViewImaging.com is his company. ConsumerQB.com is our website for all of our radio show expert contributors. But you remember my cousin, Paul Dombrowski, a former Buccaneer as well. He played during the creamsicle years. He came out several years ago and had breast cancer as a man.
Right.
Then he had to deal with that stigma and all that. But yeah, I mean, these things can happen.
But that's the thing, Brandon. We don't get mammograms as men.
Right.
But breast cancer can happen to men. We have breast tissue. So that's the thing with our machine. And we've also can capture breast cancer in women that have had clean mammograms. And we never say don't do what your doctor's telling you to do, the colonoscopy, the mammograms. We're just an added layer of protection. Right. So that's why it goes so deeper in the breast tissue. So even though women could have a clean mammogram, we'll be able to detect if something's going on deeper in the breast tissue. So it's just, again, if you have kids, if you have a family, the peace of mind is priceless. When you talk about how affordable it is, it's the peace of mind that I had with my wife the first time we scanned, and thank God everything was fine.
Right.
You couldn't put a price on that, because now I know if I have a little pain here or there, I know it's not serious.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to get to this story before the break. This was interesting because we looked at, and your family history, Argentina, from Argentina. So, in real estate, I like to look at where are the foreign buyers coming from. So it's kind of interesting when you see, the stats on Florida home international buyers, where are the buyers coming from. The top 6 countries, number 1 is Canada, but number 2, Argentina.
Really?
Yeah,
they're 10%. On Miami.
10%. Yeah,
all the Argentines go to Miami.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Miami Dade.
No, because of Messi.
Oh, yeah.
Messi went to Miami. They all wanted to get.
Yeah, well,
that's cool. I didn't know. I didn't know.
The previous president or prime minister, whichever you have down there, before Milei, he ran a lot of people out of town.
Right.
Terrible economy.
Yeah.
Colombia, Brazil, United Kingdom, Venezuela, rounding out. So those are your countries of origin, where they're coming from. Now, when they get to Florida, where are they buying? Or when they get to, I gave the number 1 state away. Which state are they buying? Okay, number 1, Florida, 20% are buying in Florida. Number 2, Texas, 13% of these international buyers are buying in Texas. Number 3, California. Surprisingly enough, hey, it's still a beautiful state, even though they've got terrible politics out there. 5% Arizona, 4% Georgia. So there you have it. Update on Florida real estate stats, purchases from international buyers. Where are they buying? Where are they coming from? More with Martin Grammatica on the flip side here. Taking a quick break. We're going to talk with him. Also, feel-good story coming up later. Dad drove around with the $1 million lottery ticket in his car for 4 months until he needed chips. So feel-good story of the day coming up. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brimes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. Did you know that we buy houses cash? We will close quickly and give you a fair offer on your home or residential properties, even commercial properties, and we will give you a fair cash offer, close quickly, and be diligent when you're shopping these types of scenarios, because a lot of the wholesalers, the flippers out there, they will sign you up on an as-is contract, and they will shop that contract and try to find a buyer, but they may not find the buyer, and they won't close. So this is Brandon Rhymes, 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com. Brandon Rhymes, we buy houses cash and fast. Attention business owners, did you know we have 100% financing options available? Our no money down program offers 100% financing for business owners. If you are currently leasing your commercial space, you can purchase real estate for no money down. Additionally, the program offers money for working capital, equipment, and business fixtures. You can even pay off current business debt. Reach out at 813-917-1894. That is my direct cell. You can call or text 813-917-1894. BRimes at kw.com. And that is our 100% financing, no money down program for business owners. We would love to help you buying, selling, or investing in real estate. 813-917-1894. BRimes at kw.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here in studio with my friend Martin Grammatica, ClearView Imaging Center, talking about your health, talking about your scans you can get with your body. And before we do, a couple of hot listings here. 1900 59th Avenue, number 108. This one's in St. Petersburg. Great opportunity to buy real estate here in Tampa Bay. You have an affordable property. This is 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 620 square foot, and it's a condo in a 55-plus community. It's 1900 59th Avenue, unit number 108, St. Petersburg, Florida. Listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Beautiful community pool. Great opportunity. Low HOA fees there as well. All right, we got some land for sale at South Taylor Road. This one just hit the market. You got 2.5 acres MOL out there in Seffner, Florida, East Hillsborough County. Build some duplexes, some triplexes, some quads. Great opportunity. You're close to the interstates as well. Modern convenience with tranquility of country living at South Taylor Road, Seffner, Florida. And we've got about 50 current listings. You can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. All right, so Martin Grammatica, former Super Bowl winner, Buccaneer, and early on in your career, Tony Dungy had a major impact in a lot of the guys. I know I've read and heard some of those stories. But you started a foundation helping out in the community, Grammatica Family Foundation. You got a 5K coming up.
Yeah, so we, thank you to Coach Dungy for instilling that in us, because that's one of the things where people ask me, we actually had it was put in our contract that we had to do 2 charity events per season.
Nice.
And I've never had to ever sign a contract like that before. And when it was contagious. When guys did it, you did more than 2, but that's a lot of it, what Coach Dungy felt and how he wanted us to be part of the community. So that's cool. When we started the Grammatica Family Foundation. So we have a 5K on the 11th, April 12th. I'm sorry, Saturday, April 12th. There's still room available. We're hoping to get to 1,000 runners. Last year we did 900. And Marsh McLennan Agency puts it up for us, and then we're the beneficiary. And this is our 10th year, believe it or not. So nice. I keep telling them, I think they're lengthening the course, because either I'm getting old and my knees, it felt good the first year of running it. Now every year gets more painful. But it's just a good time to come together and run for a great cause, because all the proceeds go to our foundation in which we build homes for veterans and we do rehabs for veterans. Now it's all veteran initiatives that we're doing. It's a lot harder to build a home from start to finish. Yeah. So we've partnered up with like Pinellas Habitat and Hillsborough Habitat, because we are doing a home dedication next Friday the 11th. Nice. In Ruskin, Florida, and that's a veteran that we're moving in next week. So that's awesome. Excited about that. Yes.
Very cool, man. Thanks for doing that. Thanks for helping out the veterans, and almost 1,000 runners now. That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, we hope. Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, I remember the first year we did it. It was like just kind of like a family run. Yeah. And then it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Yeah. And they do a great job putting it together. And 1,000 runners, Safety Harbor. So it's beautiful run by the water. The only thing I tell them I don't like is that you run by the finish line and you think you're there, and you still have another mile, because then you go and come back. Beautiful street, but I'm like, you can't tease me like that, man, showing me that finish line, and then I got another mile left.
Oh, man, that's cool. No, so people can go to the website, sign up, and they can be a runner, or they can just volunteer, or how can they get involved?
Yes, GrammaticaFamilyFoundation.org. Then there's volunteers opportunity, because I know the 5K by the Bay is what it's called. You can look it up on social media. 5K by the Bay. They're needing volunteers, but if you want to run, then you can sign up. There's a link on our website to sign up as well.
Very cool. Yeah, helping out the veterans. That's you look at the veterans and people that just go to and here I am. I played football at USF, but I had a full ride opportunity to play quarterback for the Naval Academy, and I turned it down. And part of the reason was because I was hey, I'll fess up, I was a little bit chicken, man. I didn't want to do that. It was a long 9-year commitment, right? And had a nice opportunity at South Florida to play, and Annapolis is a little bit colder climate than I'm used to, and all those factors playing in, girlfriend back home, but all that. But hats off to our veterans, that they put it all on the line. Literally, how many veterans have died, or how many have we had die, servicemen and women over the years,
Well, Charlie Lemon, who's part of our board now, he was our first recipient of a home. He lost both legs in Afghanistan, and he's the nicest, most positive person you ever meet. Yeah. And the way he explains it, and he's like, look, I lost my best friend and my legs in that bomb, so I have to live for my best friend. Yes. My legs don't matter as much as now I have to live for my best friend. Yeah. Now he's married, has a kid, finished school at USF, so he's just a great role model when you look at that. And when I see my kids, I always want to make sure that they look up to Charlie, because that's an inspiration. A guy. Yeah. I feel like I'd be the most bitter person in the world if you lose both legs. Right. Everything you do takes you longer. We look at pumping gas. If our credit card doesn't work, we complain. Yeah. Exactly. It takes Charlie 30 minutes to gas up his truck every time, because he has got the wheelchair. Right. To get the wheelchair out, and then so it's like 30 minutes just to pump gas. Wow. Where we're complaining if it takes us 5. Right. So little things like that, and so Charlie's a great guy, but that's the type of men and women that we love to serve, because thanks to them, we have the freedom that we do in this country.
Yeah, exactly. Freedom isn't free, and those types of guys like that. Man, you look at those stories and you see that, and you see a lot of them say, I wish I could have served more. I wish I could do it again. But thanks for coming in, man. And so visit ClearViewImaging.com, sign up for a image, and then also support the Family Foundation. You got the 5K coming up as well, Saturday, April 12th. Beautiful Safety Harbor, a great location as well. Martin Grammatica, thanks for coming in, man.
No, I appreciate you having me, man. Good to be here.
My pleasure. All right, coming up, we're going to talk with Attorney Millie Athanason on the Consumer Quarterback Show, AthanasonLaw.com. We're going to talk with her. She always has some great updates to different laws and things happening out there in the community. So Millie Athanason coming up. Also, feel good story of the day. Dad drove around with a $1 million lottery ticket in his car for 4 months until he needed chips. So he had to run into the store and get some chips. Good thing he did. Coming up, Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
Right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here in studio. We're going to be talking with Attorney Millie Athanason here in just a moment. She's representing law offices of Millicent B. Athanason, PA. We're going to talk with Millie. She always gives us timely updates on things happening in the community, in the legal profession as well. Before we do, a couple of hot listings here from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We got 1758 Winfield Circle in Clearwater, another beautiful listing from our team. We've got about 50 current listings, by the way, and you can see all of our listings on our website. This one's 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-car garage, 2,746 square feet. You have a third of an acre lot, split floor plan, spacious pool and patio with views of the lake. You have the center island there, and the kitchen is gorgeous. Lighter color kitchen cabinetry, lighter color flooring throughout. Beautiful pool in the backyard that is not screened. It's an open air pool, and I love that. That's what we have at our home as well. I love that open air. 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-car garage at 1758 Winfield Circle, Clearwater, Florida. Beautiful listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. 5407 County Road 125. This one's in Wildwood, Florida. Another awesome listing. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. 1914 square foot single family home. Versatile room with French doors. Perfect for an office. You have a kitchen that has granite countertops, LED lighting, a pantry that has stainless steel appliances, beautiful breakfast bar as well. Living area has 3 sliders leading out to a fully enclosed screen lanai. Beautiful views in that backyard. You've got wide open views, no backyard neighbor. You got a golf course right behind you there. International Airport is very close as well. 5407 County Road 125, Wildwood, Florida. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And quick shout out to Lee's Royal Services, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Lee does a great job cleaning our real estate properties, interior cleaning. He does a wonderful job, residential, commercial properties, home and office cleaning, so residential and commercial. Lee'sRoyalServices.com, Lee'sRoyalServices.com. That's on the interior of the property. On the exterior, you can reach out to our friend Ramin over at HeightsSoftwash.com. HeightsSoftwash.com. We recommend Ramin. I've known him for many, many years. He does a great job on all of your real estate properties as well, residential, commercial properties. HeightsSoftwash.com. Make sure you let him know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take him up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we're going to the phone lines now. Millie Athanason back on the program. Hey, Millie, how you doing today? Millie Athanason, welcome back to the program. AthanasonLaw.com is the website. Millie Athanason. We may have a technical issue there, bringing Patch and Millie into the show, but she practices family law. When you think about family law, you know you have those divorce situations, child support. You have different situations that happen with those different filings, especially around the holidays. It brings up a lot of questions on, you know, how do we work around these holidays? There's been some changes to those laws as well surrounding child support, divorce situations as well. She also helps with estate planning, so she can talk about, you know, estate planning laws. When it comes to, you know, developing that plan. You know, a lot of people, they don't really put much plan into that estate plan, but you really have to have a contingency plan if something were to happen. It's not a popular topic to talk about, But, the one thing that's guaranteed is we all are going to die. We're all going to pass away. So you got to have an estate plan in place. You got to have wills, trust, advanced medical directives, all of those types of, documents in place. And, even some of the most famous people like remember Tony Soprano, James Gandolfini. I remember that one. He died, didn't have an estate plan, had a ton of money that had to go through probate. There's, I think it was, who else was it? Michael Jackson, maybe, that didn't have all of his ducks in a row. There's a lot of situations there as well. But let's go ahead and do our feel-good story of the day since we're waiting on Millie to get back on the phone. So Dad drove around. Here's our feel-good story of the day. Let's tell you something good.
Tell me something good.
All right, Dad drove around with a $1 million lottery ticket in his car for 4 months until he needed chips. So Darren Burfitt, Swansea, Wales, unknowingly carried a Euro Millions winning ticket in his car for over 4 months until he checked his ticket while retrieving chips for his son. That he realized that he won millions. Despite the ticket being too crumbled to scan, Darren manually verified the numbers and was stunned to discover he was a millionaire. There you have it. Now, Darren and his wife, Gemma, are excited to buy their first home and replace Darren's unreliable car with a new pickup truck. The win has given their family security for the future and opened up new possibilities for their lives. There you have it. Feel good story of the day. Dave, you ever met anybody that's won a big jackpot like that?
No. I think the most was 10K. I knew somebody that won 10K, but that was about it. But thank God for that 4-year-old, right? So whenever they say, "Mommy, I want something,"
I want some chips.
Go ahead and pull over and just get them some chips.
Yeah, go check the lottery ticket while you're in there. All right, let's see if we got Millie on the phone. Hey, Millie Athanason.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, we got Millie on the line. So Athanason Law, I was talking a little bit about, you have your family law division, you do some estate planning, and what else? What's topical right now, Millie?
Well, I also, of course, do personal injury, but I did pick up on your conversation about estate planning, and I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, I think that there's many steps that people can take to avoid the whole probate process. And I think if you get everything planned in advance, it can actually be much easier of a transition for your heirs and beneficiaries. So I did want to touch upon that because I wholeheartedly agree. And yes, there were celebrities that, despite all the money that they have and all the managers and everything like that, they still didn't have an estate plan.
Yeah, and you're leaving thousands on the table, millions on the table in some cases. I think also Joe Robbie, Martin Grammatica was on earlier. He mentioned the Dolphins. So when he went to that Dolphins game, probably back in the 80s or 90s, that was Joe Robbie Stadium. I think he also didn't have a proper estate plan in place, if I recall.
Yes, that is correct. So there's many, and I mean, unfortunately, so when you keep in mind, if you don't do anything and you don't even have a will, it's going to go by intestate succession. So that means that the Florida legislature has picked out who your heirs will be and how much they will get. So if you don't like the way that Florida has it set up, then you definitely need to do your own. And the other big thing is that when you're doing a formal administration of an estate, you have to pay out of the estate assets those for the attorney that's representing the personal representative and for the fees associated for the personal representative. Under our laws, they're each entitled up to 3% of the value of the probatable asset. So it can add up, whereas if you have other mechanisms such as a trust, you can avoid all of that. You pay a little bit more money up front, but on the back end, you're not having to go through formal administration. And by formal administration, what that means is that you've got to put notice to all the creditors of this person's estate that are reasonably ascertainable. So now it opens up the estate that you have to creditors' claims. So why would anyone want to do that?
Yeah, exactly. You definitely don't want to do that. You're putting them on notice.
No, exactly, and then you're paying all these extra attorney fees. Not that I don't love making money, because I absolutely do, but I mean, at the end, that's not always in the best interest of the client, right?
Yeah.
I mean, typically when somebody comes in, what we do is we go over what their goals are, what they're hoping to do, what are the assets that they want to protect, and then we try to figure out like the best way to accomplish what they want to do with still protecting the assets.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you have someone in your family, or maybe you've thought of this and you just haven't had that conversation, text the word estate plan to our hotline, 813-917-1894. You can call or text the show hotline and, take action today. Have it today, one of those days where you just say, look, this is something I've been putting off. I need to really talk to XYZ family member about this. Text the word estate plan to 813-917-1894, and we'll put you in touch with Millie Athanason, Athanason Law, athanasonlaw.com. Also family law, personal injury law as well. And Millie, what have you, over the years, have you figured any hacks or any ways to kind of, have that conversation or to bring that conversation up?
It's a hard conversation to have, no matter who the family members are. But I always find that open communication usually breeds better results at the end. So, I mean, maybe if you have elderly parents, it would be appropriate to approach them and say, listen, Mom, Dad, we want to know, we know that you have these assets. Do you have a trust? Do you have an estate plan? Do you know who wants to take care of you when you're not able to take care of yourself? Mm-hmm. Because what happens, for example, if you don't have a durable power of attorney that gives the right to somebody for them to stand in your shoes and act as you would, then what happens is let's say you become incompetent, the state could, you can wind up having a guardianship opened, which means that usually either a court-appointed guardian is going to be appointed to handle the affairs of the individual, and or maybe a relative, depending who's available, if they've had meet proper credentials. But at the same token, there's a lot of fees for that, and especially if you're doing it through the court system, it's a court-appointed guardian. And also, every decision that the court-appointed guardian makes has to be approved by the probate court. So it's a tedious task and can be quite expensive. Whereas if you have a durable power of attorney and you give people these rights and you have a designation of healthcare surrogate that gives people the right to help make medical decisions for you, you've kind of taken a burden off of the relatives so that they don't have to fight over, okay, whose responsibility is this?
Right. Yeah.
And, if you don't have these documents in place, you're kind of stuck with whatever Florida law provides for. And I'm not here to say that Florida law is horrible. I'm just saying that if there's a more cost-effective and emotionally easier method for the family members to get,
right,
why would you not want to do that?
Yeah. Facebook.com/Athanason Law as well. We're talking with Millie Athanason, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Her practice covers family law, estate planning, and personal injury law. Millie, what else is going on either in estate planning, or did you want to talk a little bit about anything new in the PI space or family law?
Well, I'm always keeping up. We're in legislative session right now, as you know. And so one of the things that I think is going to be broached at this current legislative session, and I think it actually affects the real estate industry, are the costs of homeowners insurance and flood insurance. And what happened was back, I think it was in 22 or 23, in order to encourage insurers to stay, in order to get flood insurers to stay in the state of Florida, they changed the law a little bit. So number one was that if there was a policy in place that it would not, if there was a breach of the policy, that there would be no attorney's fees collected. And so what that means essentially was that if somebody, let's say they felt that they didn't get the correct amount of money under their policy or whatever, they can sue for breach of contract, but the prevailing party would not be entitled to attorney's fees. Well, then what's happened as a result of that is many attorneys are then hesitant to get involved because many of these plaintiffs that just lost their homes, don't have the money sitting around to hire a lawyer to fight it.
Right.
And trust me, the insurance industry has taken full advantage of that fact.
Yep.
And so, insurance law is near and dear to my heart. I mean, that's kind of the basis of personal injury, but it's also the basis of other forms of insurance. And what they're going to be looking at, I believe, this legislative session is doing away with that requirement and allowing attorney fees to be awarded, because it's turning out to be a very inequitable situation for people that are spending thousands of dollars, thousands on these policies. And then when they need it, they're like, well, sorry, you only had, a little bit of damage. We're only going to give you this much. And people are still desperately struggling to try to get their homes, to mitigate their losses from last season.
Right.
So that they can, brace themselves for this season.
Yeah. It's terrible. This is definitely one of the worst areas in terms of, from what I've seen, at least the way I've gathered it and being in real estate, that, Governor DeSantis caved in or whatever he did, but the insurance lobby is strong, and to remove the way that this is structured is one of the worst things that have happened during his administration. And don't get me wrong, I like DeSantis. He's done a lot right. He's done a tremendous amount of things right. But is that a safe characterization, Millie, that it just seems like this is really one of the worst things that have gone wrong as far as these attorneys' fees? What is it called? One-way attorneys' fees?
Yes. And so it's unfortunate because, I'll do it. I can't tell you how many phone calls I have gotten for this very situation, because people are getting no relief from these adjusters. And the adjusters know that these people are stuck. So, they practice bean counting. That's what insurance companies do. And they figure, if they deny, maybe only 5 to 10% of the people are going to do anything about it. So they're still saving a lot of money.
Yep. And it's just the worst of the human spirit, or the however you want to call it, the business, call it corruption, call it nastiness, call it whatever you want, but it's just terrible that these companies are doing that, because they know that people have the lowest amount of record lows in terms of savings that we've ever had as Americans. Right. We've got debt, whether it's student debt, credit card debt. I mean, we are the most in debt we've ever been as a country. And I think we're moving in the right direction. A lot of things are moving in the right direction, but this whole insurance thing is one of the biggest black eyes on the DeSantis administration, and I hear it from a lot of people. We got to go to a quick break. Millie, can you hang on for us on the other side?
Yep.
Can you come back? All right, well, quick break. Right back. Millie Athanason, Consumer Quarterback Show.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon BRimes here for AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com. My wife and I shifted a lot of our buying habits, and we wanted to support companies that support our values, patriotic, Christian conservative companies. And you can find that online at AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com. Now, what you're doing is you're not spending any new money. You're simply buying a lot of the common purchases that you're buying every month for the kitchen, the bathroom, your shampoos, your laundry detergent, all types of great essential oils, vitamins, herbs, those types of products. And for you beef lovers, we have great beef products as well. Tenderloin, sirloin steaks, grass-fed beef available as well. So check out AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com, and I'd love to talk to you if you have any questions about it. There's also a business opportunity there for you as well. 813-917-1894. And thank you so much for supporting our company, AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com.
Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rimes. You can reach me at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb, like quarterback.com. Buying, selling, investing, or refinancing? We would love to talk to you. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
Welcome back. Brandon Rimes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. We're talking with Millie Athanason, Attorney Millie Athanason, Law Offices, Millicent B. Athanason here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. A couple of hot listings. We're going to jump right back into this conversation. 9594 Mayor Camp Road. This one is in Ocala. It's 5,700 plus square foot building, acre of land, retail. It's a thriving hardware store that we have listed in Ocala, Florida. One of our commercial listings from the Platinum MVP team. We of course represent residential, commercial, and vacant land properties. So that's 9594 Mayor Camp Road in Ocala, Florida. Great opportunity to buy real estate. Another commercial property at 10129 Little Road, Newport Richey. This one's currently operating as a chiropractor office, but it would be perfect for any type of professional building, any type of professional business. That is 2,337 square feet, acre of land, office building, commercial property, highly visible Little Road address, 10129 Little Road, Newport Richey, Florida. You can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. All right, back to Millie Athanason. Let's pick up where we left off, Millie.
Okay, so what I was going to add is that when we had tort reform in 2023, what they also did at that time is that they limited the bad faith actions. And a lot of people don't really know about bad faith actions, so I'm just going to take a minute to explain it. So what happens is, if you're insured with an insurance company and they did not act in good faith with you in their contractual dealings with you, and they either had information and didn't use it to pay the claim properly or what have you, if you proved the breach contract action and then you proved the damages, if you were successful in those damages, let's say exceed policy limits or whatever the situation may be, you may be eligible at that juncture to file a bad faith claim, which is a separate lawsuit that you can only do after you're successful on the underlying claim. Well, in 2023, what they did on these particular like flood and homeowners policies is they said, okay, yeah, you could still file it. You could file a bad faith claim if you're, if it's acceptable and you're successful. However, if the judgment was based on an increase just because of the appraisal difference, you're not eligible for it. And so they did away with the ability then for the lawyers to even come in and make the attorney's fees on the back end on the bad faith claim. So now these poor people, many of whom are elderly, that are on a very fixed income, they live on waterfront, low-lying properties. Their houses are paid for, and they can't afford the insurance. And then when they scrape up the money to get it, they can't use it.
Wow. Terrible.
Yes, I think it's a travesty of justice as to what is going on. And, I think something desperately needs to be done. There's a lot of scuttle going around that there's going to be further reform in this regard, but I think we need to keep our eyes open, and certainly if you're passionate about this issue, to contact your state legislature or congressman and voice your opinion as a constituent.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we have in this country as a republic, constitutional republic. We have the ability. We, the people, have the power. So you make those calls. You ruffle some feathers, as they say, and you let them know how you feel. And especially when it affects our senior citizens, our veterans. These are the areas that really frustrate you because they shouldn't have to be dealing with that. And that that insurance lobby just seems like a pretty powerful one.
It's extremely powerful because they're heavily cash backed, right? So, most people don't have those pools of cash to operate from, because when you're dealing with an insurance company, they don't just necessarily provide homeowners or just necessarily provide cars. They may have an umbrella, and then they'll have separate divisions for each type of insurance, and they do that to limit their exposure, of course. So they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. AthanasonLaw.com. AthanasonLaw.com. Is it still 833-ASK-MILLIE?
You got it.
833-ASK-MILLIE. And that's going to get you in touch with Attorney Millie Athanason, family law, estate planning law, personal injury law. And, of course, Millie, we appreciate you on the show here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right, take care, Brandon.
All right. Hey, another great show. Please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness and do something kind for one another. We'll see you next time here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rimes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at ConsumerQB.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.